All right. Hi, it's Dr. Dave Morris with Magnolia Medical Center in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. It is Sunday night. I've been away at a conference all weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, out in North Carolina. Got back today. And I wanted to talk to you about stem cells. I've been meaning to do this video for a little while now. I cannot see the screen. If I could see the screen, you would see this all backwards. So forgive me if I don't respond to anything right away on this. But I want to talk to you about stem cells for a second. We do stem cell therapy in our office. We do what's called cord tissue stem cells, as well as the amniotic allograft stem cells. And I want to talk about some things. We're going to go over the truth, the lies. We are going to talk about some of the myths and what the FDA says and what they don't say. And we're going to talk about aborted babies, just some of the things that you all hear, because we do a lot of lectures on stem cell therapy. We want to get this information out about how you can get your body to heal, but we want to give you the truth, what are lies and whatnot. So let's talk about the thing that is on most people's mind, because when we let people know that we're going to be doing a workshop, the number one thing that people say is that you're using aborted fetuses to get stem cells. And the thing I want to tell you first of all is that is absolutely not true. All right. First off, my personal beliefs would prohibit me from doing that. All right. I don't believe that that's right. I think it's morally corrupt. So it's, for me, it's unethical, it's immoral, and I want you to know this just so people can stop saying this and spreading false information. It is illegal to use stem cells from aborted fetuses and embryos for treatment in this country. There are a few licensed facilities, licensed by the government, that allow research to be done using embryonic tissue. And those embryos are obtained from fertility clinics. I still want nothing to do with that. You shouldn't either. Again, I believe this is a moral issue. I think it's an ethical issue, and we do not want to do that. So if you're going to get treatment from somebody who's doing stem cell or regenerative medicine, understand that there's unless they're doing something that is illegal, and it'd be really hard to even do that, it is not possible for you to use embryonic tissue for stem cell therapy. Now, where do you get stem cells from then? So you can get stem cells from cord tissue, so umbilical cord tissue. You can get it from cord blood. You can get it from fat tissue. You can get it from bone marrow, from adults, from yourself. You can use your own stem cells from bone marrow and from fat tissue. The FDA is frowning heavily on the use of fat tissue. And so I want to talk about the FDA next. But I want you to know there's multiple sources of stem cells, and it does not all have to come from embryos. So please, please, please stop spreading that information. If you have said and responded to something and said, oh, stem cell therapy is from aborted babies, it is not. If you're watching this from another country, I have no comment. I don't know. I do know that in Europe, they have way, way, way more licensed facilities to use embryonic stem cells. They are the most volatile stem cells. We don't really want to use them for treatment anyway, because they have some volatility to them regarding how the tissues can be grown and what happens in the human body. So let's see, there we go. So stem cells in the U.S. do not come from aborted fetuses or embryos in the United States. All right, next thing. Stem cells, I hear this all the time, and this one drives me bananas, okay? I don't hear this from my viewers. I hear this from people in the media, okay? They say stem cell therapy is not FDA approved. You're correct. It is not FDA approved. It will never be FDA approved. And I want to explain why that is, okay? Stem cell therapy is not ever, ever, ever going to be FDA approved. Not the way it exists right now. So the reason being is because the FDA does not approve the use of human tissue. The FDA does not approve if you need a blood transfusion. If you got blood from somebody else, that blood is not approved by the FDA as a drug. It is the media saying that, oh, these doctors are using unproven, not unproven, because there's tens of thousands of studies. That's a lie as well. When somebody says this is unproven, there's so many studies. You can go on to PubMed.com, Medline. You can go on to clinicaltrials.gov and just read the thousands and thousands and thousands of research studies on stem cell therapy. So to say it's not proven is a lie. To say it's not safe, that's a lie as well. There were. I'll give you an example how this lie goes. All right, last year, maybe it was the year before now. There was a doctor who was doing some stem cell treatment or therapy, if you will, and he had approval from the FDA to run what is called an IRB, an independent review board, which means he was going to do some tests. He was going to try to do stem cell therapy for blindness. And he had a study being done where he included 7 people. This was actually all sanctioned, if you will, as a clinical trial with the FDA. And those people, the 7 people in it, were going blind before they got involved with his potential treatment. All right, they were going blind. 2 of them that got the treatment ended up going blind. All right, so 2 of them who were already going blind ended up going blind, but that's not how the media reports it. The media report it was doctor in Florida did stem cell therapies and made 2 people blind. It's not true. That's the way the media reported it. And then they said, oh, this was not FDA approved. You're right, it wasn't FDA approved. The Independent Review Board was FDA sanctioned, but this tissue is not FDA approved. The media says doctors are using non-FDA approved therapy. It will always, always, always be non-FDA approved because the FDA does not approve human tissue. If you were to donate a kidney, the FDA does not approve or disapprove of your kidney. If you were to donate some of your bone marrow to somebody who had leukemia, the FDA does not approve or disapprove that because the FDA does not approve human tissue. So if you ever see that in the media, just understand the media is trying to spin this, and the media is bought and paid for by the pharmaceutical company. And this is a fact. For years, it has been that 75% of the FDA's budget is paid for by pharmaceutical companies. Last year, 81% of the FDA's budget was paid for by the pharmaceutical companies. So stem cells is a wonderful way of getting your body to heal. I want to make sure we covered all that. So stem cells are not FDA approved, and they never will be. They are FDA regulated. The FDA actually can walk into any facility that harvest stem cells and inspect them for cleanliness. They can inspect all kinds of things. The FDA is supposed to regulate public health issues. One of the things that came out is that there was a company that was harvesting stem cells and then reselling them. No problem with that. Happens all the time. Happens with all kinds of things in this world. It's not an issue for stem cells, but a couple of their doses got E. coli, and so about 17 people last year got sick from that, and they were pretty ill. And there's this big hoopla in the media that there's 17 people got sick from stem cell therapy. Oh my gosh. The FDA admits, this is what is in the FDA publication, 10 to 15,000 people a year die from ibuprofen or non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medications. So is that a public health issue? So if everybody's all up in arms about 17 out of tens of thousands of people that had done some form of stem cell or regenerative medicine last year, 17 people got ill. And if the FDA were truly concerned about public health, then you would see your non-steroidal anti-inflammatories like aspirin and ibuprofen come off the market. So that really drives me crazy when people say, "Oh, it's not FDA approved, it's not proven." That's absolutely not true. It is true that it's not approved. It's not true that it's not proven. And you can read all the research yourself if you like. Now, the other thing I want to say about that is, and I already mentioned the FDA is in the pocket of the pharmaceutical companies. Most of my viewers already understand my position on that. But the American Association of Blood Banks regulates stem cell facilities that harvest stem cells. The American Association of Tissue Banks gets involved. The National Institute of Health. It is highly, highly regulated. However, there can always be something wrong, like with the company called Livion, who had an issue last year. It's not the company we use. The company we use actually had a surprise visit by the FDA last year, and they passed their visit and inspection with flying colors. Now, this is an important point, okay? Stem cells are not a treatment for anything, okay? Now, treatment, okay? The FDA and the FTC want to make sure people are not making claims about something that they do not approve. Okay, so the FDA approves drugs and surgical devices. That's what they approve. And if you look at the back of your supplement bottle, it says the FDA in this comment has not been evaluated by the FDA, not intended to diagnose, cure, prevent, or treat any disease. It's the same with stem cells. The purpose of stem cells is to assist and help your body to heal. Your body to heal, not some other thing doing the healing, okay? So I've had patients come in who had MS. And if somebody, if that patient went out there and said, look at my results, that doctor treated my MS with stem cells, I would say flat out, that's not true. My nurse practitioners, my medical director would roll over in their grave if they found out that we were saying that we treated MS with stem cells. Nobody should say that because it's not true. It's illegal to say that also. If you said, I have a degenerative knee, I have hundreds of patients with degenerative knees who have gotten great results using stem cell therapy. The problem is I can't say that stem cells treat degenerated knees. What we can say is stem cells assist your body to heal more rapidly than it would typically heal on its own. Now that's proven in the research. We can't make some blanket statement and put that in writing because of what the FDA and the FTC say. You can get pissed at them if you'd like to. I just want you to understand that what is allowed to be said as a treatment for a disease is a drug and a device, and the FDA regulates that. So I don't know if I have any other slides here. I do not. But I wanted to go over that because there's just so much information, okay? There's a lot of myths out there. You're welcome to read about those. But we're doing actually a workshop on stem cell therapy tomorrow night. And we try to make sure people understand these things. This is a highly regulated arena. And I don't care if somebody comes on here and says it's not regulated at all. I had some guy the other day say this is completely Wild West. That is not true. It is not the Wild West. There's a lot of fail-safes, a lot of things in there. But when this goes against the pharmaceutical industry, who is one of the, if not the largest lobbyer of Washington, and somebody could actually get better instead of having a lifelong prescription to try to manage a disease, believe me, the pharmaceutical industry is going to be upset about that. And the FDA is bought and paid for by the pharmaceutical industry. I believe that they do some public health things, but if 10 to 15,000 people a year die from ibuprofen alone and they're doing nothing about it, I would even argue that they're doing anything about public health. Do me a favor, comment below. Let me know what you think about this subject. I'd appreciate any feedback. Also, please share this. You know, I always ask you to share. It's the one thing that I ask you to do for me is hit that share button below. Give me a little likes, give me some hearts, whatever. But it's important that this information gets out there. And my purpose in life is to help as many people as I possibly can. But in order to do that, we have to really dispel some lies and basically pull back the curtain on the people that are controlling the purse strings in healthcare. And really making healthcare what it is, which is just a sick care system. And I get really, I spent 3 days away from my home and family at a seminar. I do that probably twice a month just to try to learn new things and try to help open the, like I said, pull back the curtain on the wizard who's running healthcare and turn it into a sick care system. And I believe we can, if enough people share this information, I believe that we can change the tide, if you will, on what is happening, and more things that actually can assist somebody to heal will become more and more mainstream. It'll become less expensive. It may be, maybe, who knows, this is like total pie in the sky, but who knows, maybe even insurance companies will start to come around and cover some of those things. So I really appreciate you watching. Hoping you're having a great Sunday night. If you saw this, like I said, if you found this valuable, hit that share button and hit those like buttons for me, and comment below. I'd love to hear your comments. I can't see them because of the way my phone's set up right now, but I will come on and respond to any of them I can after I put my kids to bed. All right, you guys have a good night. Thanks for watching.